I wanted to wake up when I felt like it. I wanted to be on the beach. I wanted to go for a surf in the morning, have coconuts, and then do like 4 hours of work in the afternoon and have some tacos every night. That's all I wanted. That was it. I didn't want to drive around a Bentley. I didn't want Gucci clothing. I didn't want all this kind of shit. I just wanted to live really cheap, really chilled in Mexico, and that was all I freaking wanted. And to live that life, I only needed about $500 per week. All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to another mini episode on the Dream Out Loud podcast. Another minute with Morgs. Going to be back, guys. If you are brand new to this channel, if you're brand new to this podcast or this YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe right now. Hit the like button. And if you're on YouTube and you want to hit onto the podcast on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify, go and find it there, Dream Out Loud. Give us a subscribe there. However you guys want to listen. And if you're the listeners on the podcast and you don't know that we have a YouTube now, go and jump on YouTube, find us Morgan T. Nelson, because there's heaps of content on there that I don't put anywhere else. But either way, if you're brand new, hit the link in the description of this episode and join the free Facebook community, our circle of influence, where we're just vibing out there every single day. We do Q&As and there's heaps of extra content inside of there. And if you're back listening, I'd like to welcome you guys back. In today's episode, I want to talk about really defining what your true goal is, okay? Because so often people are setting all these goals and they set goals based on what they think they should have or what they should, or perhaps what their parents think they should have, or what their society or what Instagram or what the people that they follow think they should have. And what they're doing is they're actually living a life and running for a goal that's incongruent of what they truly want. And how do I know this? Is because I've done it for so long, okay? And I was having this conversation with quite a few other people because I was testing it. I was asking them questions, and when I start to unpack this, it gets really curious, okay? So especially in the entrepreneur space, okay, in the business space, there's this goal of hitting 7 figures. Everybody talks about this goal, right? I've got to hit 7 figures. What's your goal this year? It's, I've got to hit $1 million this year. Got to $1 million in sales, $1 million in profit, or whatever, right? And which, by the way, are two completely different things. So when you do meet someone who says they're making 7 figures, or they have a 7-figure business, there's so many different variables to that. It's like I've even met some people, they say, if they made $83,000 in 1 month, they say, oh, I have a 7-figure business now. No, you don't. If you hit $83,000 in 1 month, that's fantastic, not disregarding that at all. But if you hit that for 12 months in a row and you make over $1 million a year, then you have a 7-figure business. But there's so much fake shit out there. And I'm just wanting to let all of you guys know that, because it's so easy for that people like you are seeing all this from the outside and not knowing what's actually happening on the inside. And you guys are running in the wrong direction, thinking that you're not good enough. So I want to put some light onto this right now, okay? So there is this goal though, okay, of the $1 million milestone. And in the entrepreneur space, it's the worthiness meter, the worthiness scale, if you would. And what happens is, somebody asked me a long time ago, they're like, what's your goal this year? I'm like, well, $1 million. Yeah, I've got to make $1 million in a year. And I started thinking about it, and I started thinking to myself, where did that come from? Why $1 million? Like, why not 5 million? Why not 6.5? Why not $250,000? Why not, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things out there. So why is it $1 million? And I was having this conversation again with a friend the other day, because they said to us, I'm going to drive this business to $1 million a year. And I said, I'm just curious, why is it $1 million? And they said, well, it's got to be, doesn't it? I said, well, does it? How come it has to be? And we started to ask the question. And I started to ask them, I said, well, what do you really need to get to? Like, why are you doing all of this? Why are you building your business? Why are you doing all of this? What's the purpose? And they said, they're like, well, I want to be able to live this, this quality of life that I'm thinking it's up here, I want to be able to invest this much money, have this car, have this house, yada, yada, yada. And I just said to him, I said, have a think about how much you actually need to live that. And then wouldn't it make sense to then set your goal accordingly to a real broken down outcome versus a made up thing? And he's like, yeah, probably. I go, because what you'll probably find is it's a lot less than $1 million, or it might even be more. But most people set these goals because they just think they should hit this goal. Okay? So this is what I did when I was first starting to think about this. I was like, well, it's got to be $1 million. So then what I did was I started to break down my lifestyle I want to live. So I said, cool, what do I want to do? I want to live in this penthouse, okay? So I'm like, I looked at, to live in this certain penthouse is going to be about, I think it was $1,000 a week in rent. I was like, bam, $1,000 a week in rent. I want to be able to, and I wish I had all this written down so I could say to you guys right now what it was, but I forget, okay? But I said, I was like, you know, I want to be able to donate, you know, $600 a week, you know? I was just throwing these numbers out. Like, I want to be able to donate $600 a week. I want to be able to put in my bank, you know, $3,000 a week. I want to be able to invest $2,000 a week. I want to be able to buy a Bentley. And how much does that cost? That costs, you know, $800 a week in repayments. I want to be able to go on a bull-and-ass holiday every single 90 days for at least, I think it was like at least 3 weeks, VIP, 5-star, first class, be really awesome. So how much do I need to do that? Perhaps it's like $15,000, you know, and I was putting all these things in. I was like, what does my ideal life look like and how much does it really cost me? So I went and started doing some research. What does it really cost me to rent this penthouse, to drive a Bentley, to fly first class, to go on these holidays, to do all these kinds of things, to eat organic food, to hire a cook, to have them to cook all my food for me, to do all these kinds of things? How much do I really need? And to pay GST and tax, okay? So I looked at all the things. I want to be able to invest this much money. I want to donate this money. I want to be able to buy these kinds of things. I want to live here, eat this way, live this way, drive this car, have this sort of lifestyle. And then I added it all up, and guess how much it came to? So mind you, before I did this, the goal was $20,000 a week, $1 million a year. I added this all up, and it came to $11,000 a week. That's before taxes, okay? So what actually happened was my goal almost halved. It went to about $550,000 for the year instead of $1 million. So here I was having to think I had to bust my ass and work so hard to hit $1 million because I thought when I hit it, then I'll be good enough in the eyes of society and the community, right? And the entrepreneur space, because until you're hitting 7 figures, you're not a 7-figure entrepreneur. But why the fuck does that matter at all? We're talking about you, your life, your goals. This is why you're here, right? So wouldn't it make sense to really figure out exactly what you need? And by the way, this might be completely different for you. You might work out exactly what you need and be like, oh my God, I need to make $2 million a year. I'm undercutting myself, right? So it's important to actually get clear on exactly what you want, what your lifestyle looks like, and how much is that going to cost you, and then reverse engineer that and work out how much you actually really need to make in your business. Because I'll tell you right now, the stretch from making $550,000 a year to $1 million a year is quite significant. That's a big jump. That's doubling business, right? That's a double in income. That's quite a bit. That's not just going to happen off one little tiny thing, right? That's a pretty big thing. So if I don't really need to do it, okay, and by the way, like, you should have high standards, okay? I still believe that everybody should have the goal and the aspiration to become a millionaire, not for the money, but for the person that you have to become on the way there, okay? So I do believe that. But however, to take a bit of pressure off your shoulders, instead of comparing yourself to people all the time, thinking I must do this. Some coaches out there, it's like, I have to hit 10K in a month. I have to be the 6-figure. Why not? Why do you need to do that? Could you go and live in freaking Mexico like what I did when I was 23 and go, actually, all I need is $1,000 a week and I'm living a really cool life to how I want to live? Because what's important to you might be important as what might not be important to somebody else, right? So for me when I was 23, what was important to me was just living a life of freedom. I wanted to wake up when I felt like it. I wanted to be on the beach. I wanted to go for a surf in the morning, have coconuts, and then do like 4 hours of work in the afternoon and have some tacos every night. That's what I wanted. That was it. I didn't want to drive around a Bentley. I didn't want Gucci clothing. I didn't want all this kind of shit. I just wanted to live really cheap, really chilled in Mexico, and that was all I freaking wanted. And to live that life, I only needed about $500 per week. Now, if I set myself the goal and I delayed what I ultimately wanted inside because I thought I had to hit 10K a month first, then I would be living life doing something else that I don't really want to do yet in order to live this life that I could have lived a lot earlier if I had got clear on it. Is this making sense? So I want you guys to sit down today and actually look at your lifestyle. What exactly do you want? What's important to you? What are your values? What do you find important in the world? What do you value the most? What does your ideal life look like? How much is that going to cost you? And what really is your goal? What do you really need to be working towards? Because what's also important, it's not how much money you make, it's what type of money you make. So what do I mean by that? You might be making $150,000 a year working a good sales job, but you have an active income, which means you can't go anywhere else but your workplace to make money. And if you don't go there, you don't get paid, right? But you might have somebody else who's making $50,000 a year in network marketing and they're earning a residual income. They get to do whatever they want, go wherever they want, live however they please, right? Which lifestyle would you prefer? Some would say, well, I want more money because that's what you guys value. But other people who value freedom and time and choice, right, might just go, man, I want the 50K a year, but residually and choice to live and however I want and wherever I want. Is this making sense? So get clear on exactly what lifestyle you want, how much you actually need to create that lifestyle, and reverse engineer from that. And then start looking at what types of money is going to be able to bring you that, what sort of vehicles is going to bring you that, and start living your dream life now. Okay, start living your dream life now and get really clear about where you are going, what your goals are, and stop the comparison with everybody else out there, because it's so easy to fall into this lifestyle to go, well, everyone's got Rolexes and Lambos, I need that as well. But what if you don't? What if that's not what if that's not important to you? What if the most important thing to you is just living on the beach, off the grid, in Bali, having a scooter and just chilling out? I know people who live the most happy life ever in Bali. They don't even make that much money, but I tell you what, they barely do a thing. They barely do a thing. They just surf. They hang out with their friends. They watch the sunset every day. They have a dog. They have a scooter, right? They just live a really cool, chilled life because that's what's important to them. But for other people, that might be a nightmare. They might be like, I've got to be hustling. I've got to be making money. If that's what's important to you, then go ahead and do it, okay? So figure out what's important to you. Figure out what your ideal life looks like. Reverse engineer that. How much is it actually going to cost you to live that? And then set yourself a new goal and start moving towards that. Okay? Guys, if you got value from this, share this with a friend, tag a friend in it, do whatever you need to do. And if you have not yet done it, hit subscribe on iTunes, hit subscribe on YouTube, leave us a 5-star written review, and hit the like button on YouTube. And please, guys, if you're getting value from this, just share this. That's all we want, just to get more value out there to the world and create a bigger impact together. Okay? So I love you all. Thanks for supporting. I'll see you guys on the next episode.